Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I have a pretty fun video ahead for you guys. In this video, I'm going to be sharing my unpopular Ninjago opinions that most people generally will not agree with. So yeah, anyways, if you are a sensitive person and are sensitive to any sort of criticism, because in this video I will at times be criticizing certain characters or seasons, this video may not be for you, so I wouldn't watch this video if you are sensitive to criticism, because yeah, again, in this video I will be calling out certain aspects of seasons or characters that I did not like. Anyways, we're actually going to start off this video with a more positive opinion, so yeah, sit back, relax, and enjoy. I actually love the time reversal ending of Season 6 Skybound, and that is because it is not at all ordinary, and it's completely unique too. In past seasons, you generally have the ninja coming through to save the day with some huge attack or something, but this really speaks to how clever of a character Jay is, and really highlights how Jay isn't a comic relief character. This scene as well is just executed perfectly. Just the emotion of the scene too, reusing the Zane's memorial soundtrack, it's awesome. And the time reversal too, speaking of that, not many characters other than Jay and Nia really got development in the season, and this time reversal also allowed for the writers to really do a lot of damage to Ninjago. It allowed the writers to kill off Pixel, turn Lloyd into a grandpa, and most importantly, present the ninja with a lose-lose situation at the end of episode 64. Instead of picking with one of those obvious choices, Jay picked his own choice that solved everything and made the ninja happy in the end, keeping Nia alive while also eliminating Narakan too. And this is definitely an unpopular opinion. A lot of people love Rebooted, but I personally don't think it was that good of a season. My biggest problems with it would probably be that after a year of having not seen Ninjago, this season really didn't feel like Ninjago, and it kind of felt like a different show to me. The humor and emotion that was present in the original two seasons were completely gone in this season, as well as any sort of humor too. And all in all, 7 out of 8 episodes of the season felt very, very bland. The season finale was superb, but the rest of the season felt very repetitive in terms of plot. On top of that, I think the futuristic approach was cool, but kind of just pointless and really was just for show. None of these futuristic gadgets and approach to the city really had any lasting impact after Rebooted. They just kind of showed up out of the blue in the first episode, and then after episode 34, they were gone. We never really have seen any of these futuristic gadgets ever seen in Ninjago City again. All in all, not a huge fan of this season. Another unpopular one coming up, Harumi and Morro are my second and third favorite villains of Ninjago. And in the end, these guys are both amazing villains, but I feel like Harumi is a bit better of a villain. First of all, her relationship with Garmadon, which I feel is heavily underrated throughout Season 9 mostly. That is an amazing relationship, and I especially love the whole Daughter of Darkness idea. Harumi's motives are also, I think, the best in Ninjago yet. She doesn't just want to conquer Ninjago herself. She wants to give Ninjago the leader it deserves, and she thinks she's doing the right thing by actually giving Ninjago a real leader. On top of that, I love her sadistic motives. She also wants revenge on Lloyd, and the backstory ties in wonderfully to Ninjago's past events. I feel like Moro is a great villain, but in this sense, Harumi is much darker too, and I feel like that's something that really made Season 8 one of Ninjago's best seasons. Next up for unpopular opinions is Ronin. I feel like the Ninjago community really loves Ronin, and I think he's cool and whatever, he's a nice mercenary-like character, but I honestly feel like he's an overrated character. The guy is constantly switching sides throughout the first 3 installments that he's in. Seasons 5, 6, and Day of the Departed, he is constantly switching sides, wanting to decide if he is with the ninja or just seeking money, and that is really what annoys me. Basically, his development in Season 5 was fine. I think in Season 5 he was cool. At the end, he learns that the ninja are his friends, but bam, all that is suddenly erased in Season 6 when he's back again for money. Then he is, at the end of the day, good in Season 6 again, and I know Season 6 is erased from the timeline, but in Day of the Departed, he's going to go loot Ed and Edna. So, I mean, what the heck? This guy's constantly switching sides, and I think that is really annoying. I don't think he's a bad character, but we gotta see some more consistent development for him. There was a time when I actually thought Dareth was a funny character, mostly in Season 2. I found in episode 15 that he was actually hilarious as a character. I loved how idiotic he was, and how compared to the ninja, he's so lame. Also, he's a self-proclaimed grand sensei too, and he even bought his own trophies, painted his black belt. I find all of that to be pretty funny. Even his cameo in Season 5 when he gets a cement truck dumped on him, and even in Season 7 when he's worried about his fake trophies getting stolen. However, in recent seasons, Dareth has been absolutely terrible. He's gone from being this wannabe martial artist to some guy who is constantly needing to go to the bathroom. I don't know what happened with him, but he used to be funny. I don't know how unpopular this is, given that I know there are other people out there who agree with this, but I think personally that Kailor is a pretty weak ship. Basically, this ship started because Kai saw a hot girl and was like, oh, I want to date her. And eventually, lo and behold, this becomes true. Big surprise. I feel like a lot of their interactions are very awkward, and they don't have the same meaning that ships like Pixane and Jaya do. Jaya, of course, has had a huge season of development, and Pixane also feels so much more unique than Kailor. Kailor does not really feel unique in the least at all. Skylar being the spy in Season 4 was a cool twist, but this did pretty much nothing to their relationship at all. After that, they were just happily ever after together again. And again, this relationship is super awkward. These two don't feel as natural together as some of the other ships do. This is basically like the worst version of Harumi in my opinion. I actually liked Misako, and I felt like this was actually a pretty good ship in Season 2. For those of you saying that Misako was cheating on Garmadon, please. He was an evil, four-armed warlord, allying with Ninjago's ultimate evil. Seriously? You're gonna accuse her of cheating on that person? Alright, anyways, this relationship also had a lot of history behind it too, as explained in Season 4, since these guys were actually meant to end up together. This relationship definitely feels better than Kailor, and it feels a lot more natural too, considering these guys do have history together, and at one point they were friends and they were about to get married. So all in all, I do like this relationship, and I feel like, especially the conflict that Misako feels in Season 2 about wanting to have chosen Wu is really cool too. So I like this ship more than Kailor actually, and Garmasako too for that matter. This one I don't think is too unpopular, but the Ninjago community seriously has a shipping problem. Anytime a female character is introduced, the community absolutely loves to automatically ship them with other characters. Aside from that, I don't think Cole needs a love interest. I mean, more relationships isn't a good thing. Let's compare Kailor and Jaya. Both of these ships kind of started out the same, with the boy being attracted to a girl. The difference with Jaya though is that it was the original of the two and it was older, and it felt more natural too. Maybe it was just better written, and that could be something, but I think one of the reasons why Kailor was not so good is because it didn't feel original. With a ship like Pixane or Harumi had lots of twists and turns and didn't end up working, while Pixane is between two robots, and there's the motif of are we compatible? I don't think every character necessarily needs to have a love interest, and a lot of people here are saying that Cole should have a love interest, whether it be Antonia or Akita, and I personally don't think that needs to happen. A more neutral opinion coming up here. I actually think that Garmadon's death in Season 5 was necessary for a few reasons, and it actually opened up some new pathways for the future of Ninjago. First of all, he said it himself in Season 4. The ninja didn't need two senseis, and it didn't really add anything that much. But most importantly, this also really opened up the door for Sensei Lloyd, or Master Lloyd, which would later become a thing in Season 7. And even in Season 5, this is where Master Lloyd first gets hinted at, when Lloyd takes on Garmadon's robes. When Wu was out of commission, for instance, in seasons like Season 7 and Season 8, this also allowed the ninja to become more independent themselves, with Lloyd taking on the role of leader, without Garmadon to babysit them. So I think that Garmadon's death actually did open up some new possibilities for Ninjago. Truth be told, I don't really like Mustake, and she just kinda came out of nowhere in Seasons 8 and 9. First of all, no offense, but I really don't like her voice acting. It's just pretty annoying, to be honest. And also, the idea of her being an Oni was cool, but this is just a pretty random character. I mean, she was some tea seller from the first season. I don't think there was any real justification for her to end up being some demon who gets killed by her former customer. So yeah, it's the voice acting, and also I don't think she's that well written of a character either, considering she just came out of the blue and turned out to be some demon. So yeah, it's the combination of the two that makes me come to the conclusion that Mistake is kind of a mediocre character. I absolutely love the final fight of Season 7 aboard the Iron Doom, and I think it's honestly better than Kai vs. Rei. This fight made the best use of the Opening the Cursed Realm soundtrack to me, and I thought that it was executed wonderfully. Especially Wu's quote of putting off what cannot be done today until tomorrow, twisting his classic words, was amazing. The animation was also really cool, and there was so much action going on at this. There was the fight aboard the Iron Doom, but also the fact that the ninja would have to get out of the vortex, but also stop the Time Twins from doing bad stuff too. And yeah, just the fact that they were swirling around in the time vortex made it even cooler. And Wu's sacrifice at the end is also amazing, and honestly my favorite part of Season 7 too. I talked about this in my favorite quote of each season video, but I don't really like the quote, control time, control everything. It's just a very simple quote with no real meaning behind it at all. Take another quote like "only one can remain," which foreshadows the unification of the elemental masters, whereas this quote is just very, very boring and it doesn't really intimidate me at all. Maybe it's the voice acting, but I never really felt intimidated by this quote, or these villains either, so I don't really like this quote at all, to be honest. And I say filler episodes aren't that bad. I include the word that because there are some that I don't like. I don't like Double Trouble and I don't like Pirates vs. Ninja. But the other filler episodes honestly aren't that bad actually. I really like episode 17 and I felt like it was a really cool and fast-paced episode that introduced a new concept to Ninjago too. I also loved episode 19 also, which is the first time travel that we would see in the series. And I felt like this was a great callback to the past seasons of Ninjago too. So I don't know, I don't think the filler episodes are honestly that bad. A lot of people like to hate on them, but some of them are actually pretty good. And for the final unpopular opinion of the day, I don't think the Overlord should be Ninjago's final villain. He's already been defeated about 3 times, once by the first Finjitsu Master, once by Lloyd, and once by Zane. And I think he could return the final season, but I don't think he necessarily should be the main villain, the final villain for Ninjago. I think it would have been great had he been the final villain had Season 3 not existed, because Season 3 just brings him back only to get defeated again. And he was a great final villain for the first 2 seasons, but at this point I think Ninjago needs an even bigger threat of sorts than the Overlord. And actually, I would love for Ninjago's final villain to be the first Finjitsu Master, which is certainly a stretch and probably won't happen, but I will explain that in another video, how I would make the first Finjitsu Master Ninjago's final and true villain. So that's going to be all for this unpopular opinions video. Let me know which of these you disagreed with and which of these, if any, you agreed with. Thanks for watching this video. If you guys enjoyed, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, share with anyone ever you know, and I will see you next time.